A massive trade in the NBA today, hours before the draft. ESPN reports the Milwaukee Bucks are sending their franchise player Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat. It is a deal that involves 6 players overall and a bunch of draft picks, including tonight's number 3 overall. Giannis is a 2-time NBA MVP and 2021 Finals MVP. The stage is set for tonight's NBA draft at the Barclays Center in New York. The Mavericks have 2 picks in the first round, number 9 overall and number 30, the last pick in round 1. And I am joined by Locked On Mavericks podcast host Nick Angstadt to tell us how tonight could shape up next season. There is a lot to dive into. Good to see you, Nick.
Awesome day, draft day. Giannis finally got traded. The national nightmare is over. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with the big news of the day. Before the draft, we're still talking about this. The Mavs hiring Michigan's Dusty May as their new head coach. I want your thoughts on him.
Dusty May is an incredible hire for the Dallas Mavericks. This is one that a lot of people didn't think was going to happen. It was reported that the Mavs had reached out to Dusty May and John Shire from Duke, and that they'd be interested in a college coach. And then the rumors kind of subsided. It seemed like the talk was that they weren't interested in moving. Dusty May had an agreement, a verbal agreement to go back to Michigan. It happened like 6 days after they won the national championship in April. And then all of a sudden, 2 months later, he's agreed to be the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. This is a wild swing. Stuff like that happens in college sports. I know that if you follow college at all, the coaches, they move around all the time, and they're going to do what they do, and they're going to do what's best for them and their situation. And coming to the Dallas Mavericks is a spot that's really great for him. He gets to coach Cooper Flagg. That's reportedly one of the big reasons why he chose the Mavericks over a team like the Orlando Magic or the Portland Trailblazers that also had coaching vacancies. And so Cooper Flagg, working with Masai Ujiri, this ownership willing to shell out the way that they did to say goodbye to Jason Kidd, to bring in Masai, and now Dusty May, shows that they are really invested in this franchise, and it's a really good spot for him, and I think he's a really interesting hire.
Now, we're talking about it, and a lot of people are talking about it, but there is still no formal announcement about Dusty from the Mavs. So does that mean he's not going to have much of an impact in tonight's draft?
Well, it's professional sports. When has an official contract ever stopped people from talking about certain things? I don't know if that's necessarily going to step in the way. And I think the Mavs should want Dusty May to have some say in this, in the draft, because he coached 3 of the guys that are probably going to be around the range that the Dallas Mavericks are drafting today. Adai Mara, Morez Johnson Jr., and Yaxel Lendenberg. They were all on that Michigan team that won the national title with him. And so he's obviously got some great things to say about those guys and knows them intimately. And then also he's coached against all these guys in the first round. And then he's scouted against them. He's probably recruited a lot of these guys that are going to be around that range. And so the Mavs should want him to have some kind of input, but it wouldn't be surprising to me if we didn't have a formal announcement even before the draft.
Yeah, you would think there would be some conversation. All right, the Mavs have 2 first-round draft picks. Will we see wheeling and dealing? Is there someone they're really targeting? What are your thoughts?
There's a lot of talk about trading down. There's a couple of teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Charlotte Hornets, now the Milwaukee Bucks that have multiple picks in this draft, and the Mavs could trade down with any of those teams. We did a mock draft on Locked On Mavs with all of our other shows, Locked On Thunder, and we did a trade, and we traded down. The Mavs got Isaiah Joe from the Thunder. They went and got number 12. They got number 17, and so they moved and traded the 1 pick for 2 picks and got 2 guys out of this. And I think that's something the Mavericks could definitely do today. But if they don't, I think they stay. They'd probably take Braden Burries out of Arizona. That's the guy that's mocked the Mavericks the most out of all the mock drafts out there. I went through yesterday. I think I went through 7 mock drafts from different places, and they all had Braden Burries to the Mavericks, which probably means he's not going to go there because we're never all right about something, right?
Well, I'm going to circle back with you on that for next time and see where you were. No question that Cooper Flagg is coming off an incredible rookie season, so expected to be the face of the Mavs. I say expected. Of course, there can always be changes, but for many years to come, we're hoping he'll stay around. What are some of the biggest building blocks they need around him?
First of all, I don't think Mavs fans are ready for a joke about Cooper Flagg or their best player being traded at a certain point. I don't know if we're ever going to be ready for that. But, man, with Cooper Flagg, he's going into his second year, expected to take a big step forward. His first season showed so much promise, so many games where the game where he dropped 50, the multiple games where he dropped 40, where you just saw, man, this is what could really work on the biggest stage. You watch those playoff series between the Spurs, the Thunder, the Knicks, and you go, he could play in all these and excel in all these because size matters in the NBA. Size with skill and ability matters. And so the other thing about Cooper Flagg that's awesome about this draft is that you can put anybody around him. Any of these guys, you can find another power forward, you can find a center, you can find a small forward, any kind of guard. He can play with any single one of those. Dusty May is a coach that has worked with a bunch of different schemes and fits and different kinds of player styles in college. And so this is something where by the end of the night, the Mavs may look completely different. And that's something that's exciting because they can do almost anything with Dusty May's versatility and Cooper Flagg's versatility as a player.
Well, Nick, I know you have fun watching tonight. Thanks for your insight. We appreciate it.
Anytime.
And you can catch round 1 of the NBA draft live tonight right here on WFAA. It starts at 7 o'clock, followed by WFA News at 10, where we'll have all the reaction for the Mavs to their picks.